I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
Welcome to Deep Cuts, the podcast where we pick a topic and then walk you through the ins, the outs, and the nitty-gritty so that you can appear like an interesting and idiosyncratic person at your next forced social function. Today's topic is...
Slab City.
What is Slab City? Well, it's an off-the-grid, unincorporated community in the California Sonoran Desert, taking its name from the concrete slabs left behind by the Marine Corps and upon which the city was built. With about 150 year-round residents, Slab City is often touted as the last lawless place in America, with no running water, plumbing, or food. But in reality, that's all just kayfabe.
Act 1. Seem like the Slab City, go against me. During World War II, the United States military believed the Sonoran Desert, about 54 miles north of the US-Mexico border, would be the perfect location for military training camps to prepare for a North African campaign. This area had a harsh climate and rugged terrain to prepare troops for the wide open spaces they'd encounter in areas like Tunisia and Libya. The military acquired about 631 acres of land and fully commissioned Camp Robert H. Dunlap on October 15, 1942. The camp had everything they needed, including 30 functional buildings, a sewage collection system, paved roads, and even a pool. There was also a laboratory set up to test how well concrete could survive in the harsh conditions of the desert. And we got some pictures here of this little military testing site, Camp Robert H. Dunlap.
Camp Robert H. Dunlap looks like...
We're doing it. This guy looks like of a camp?
Camp Robert H. Dunlap looks like the type of place that you think you want to go to instead of prison, and then you get there and you're like, fuck, dude, I wish I was in prison.
Yeah. Camp Robert H. Dunlap looks like the location after the Stepford Wives neighborhood fell apart. This was like Plan B.
Yeah.
This was the second Death Star for the Stepford Wives people.
Camp Robert H. Dunlap looks like a failed Epcot, like Disney planned community.
Yeah. Also, Camp Robert H. Dunlap looks like the opening splash screen for Dimension Films.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, oh, we're about to watch Scream 5.
Yeah, 100%.
Camp Dunlap was only used for 3 years until the end of the war. At that point, a skeleton crew was kept on board to oversee things until 1956, when it was fully decommissioned. A crew came in to dismantle the buildings in 1959. The only thing that remained were those concrete slabs. The military gave the land back to the state of California through a quitclaim deed, which didn't include any restoration provisions, restrictions, or a recapture clause, which could have allowed the military to regain the land at a later date if they so wished. Nope. There was just all this land out there in the middle of Imperial County, California, now with all these slabs. And while the military no longer wanted anything to do with it, it soon caught the attention of squatters. See, the thing about me, the thing you need to know about me is that if I saw several concrete slabs in the middle of the blazing sun of the California desert, my first thought would not be summer condo.
Yeah, my first thought would be, how can we make a movie about this?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I mean that is what my first thought would be. I mean, I briefly for a time when I was in high school plotted to go undercover at The Gathering and make a documentary about juggalos. Before people were making documentaries about juggalos, we never ended up doing that because my friend was a little bit flaky. But yeah, 100%. That would be my first impulse. It's like, I want to make a documentary about this weird thing. I mean, we would have gone to The Gathering for sure.
What's this would have?
We will go to The Gathering.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean by that is just that, people have that's kind of tread territory now.
Yeah, you're right.
People have become fascinated by the subculture of juggalos. They've made documentaries. They've interviewed people. Vice has been out there 1,000,003 times.
Yeah.
But like in 2004, when I was talking about doing this with my friend, like we would have been the first people to ever do something like that.
Yeah.
While the land technically belongs to the state, they just don't really do anything with it and haven't bothered to do anything about the squatters for decades. The state doesn't spend any money on providing services to anyone in Slab City, so they're fully on their own and free to do as they please. The first to settle in the location were veterans who had worked at the Marine base. Eventually, drifters began showing up, and then recreational vehicle owners who wanted a free camping spot set up shop in what became known as Slab City.
I feel like this story is what mainstream America thinks Burning Man is.
Oh, 100%. Like that's, I don't even know if we go into that really in this script. Like, I don't know if that's, I don't know if this is something that's like within the editorial, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode. That's one of the reasons why I assigned this to our boy Mike Bedard, writer and former temporary pinch hitter co-host of the show, is for that very reason, which is that Slab City is just the real Burning Man. Burning Man is like a bunch of people cosplaying as hippie hobos, and then these are the real hippie hobos.
Yeah, these are the motherfuckers out there being like, I have 3 teeth.
Yeah, and it's like it's the Slab City is the juxtaposition that shows why Burning Man is what Burning Man is, which is in reality the hippie hobo squatter village is a bleak, horrible place to be, and nobody should ever want to live there unless you are so committed to this idea of a divorce from any kind of government oversight that you're willing to subject yourself to like prison conditions, essentially. Yeah. The people who came to Slab City began referring to themselves as slabbies, while tourists or anyone just stopping were known as normies. Slabbies?
And slabbies and normies is like a really shitty screenwriting thing.
It's like
it's not.
It's like you just took the thing and just put ease at the end of it.
Yeah, it's not. No.
This was the first draft.
Yeah.
Clanker is a pretty good like sci-fi diminutive term for a robot, but like slabbies,
yeah, I don't
do
know
another pass.
It's like how in the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Dick refers to the androids
called
as
Andes. Yeah, they're Andes.
Boo.
Yeah, it's not great.
Boo.
Yeah, and then in Blade Runner they're called replicants, which is
much better.
Which is a lot better. And it's, that's what it is like Philip K. Dick, admittedly he said, he went on record as saying this. He was just like, I didn't know how to market anything. Like I didn't name my book. Somebody else named it Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because if I had titled it, it would have been called Android City or something like that. Like he was not good at names.
Yeah.
He was good at ideas. But yeah, and then on the flip side, we have our boy
Ridley Scott.
Oh, yeah. Who's all aesthetics and all about style, and he's just like, no, bro, like they're not Andes.
Yeah, Hampton Fancher is out there being like, replicants.
Good old Hampy Fanch.
Dude, Hampton Fancher, my favorite guy.
That's your favorite guy?
He's one of them.
Hampton Fancher is your favorite guy?
Have we never talked about this? I love Hampton Fancher.
We've never talked about it, but I don't know where it might be, but I have the 4-disc Blade Runner Blu-ray set that came out that has all 3 cuts of the film. The director's cut, the theatrical cut, and then like the in-between one.
Cut, yeah.
And then it has a 6-hour documentary with tons of interviews with Ridley Scott and Hampton Fancher.
I love Hampton Fancher.
Hampy Fanch would have come up with a little bit better of a name than Slabbies.
No shit.
Back then, the only way people could find out that Slab City even existed was by word of mouth. But that changed with a 1984 article in Trailer Life and RV magazine, making Slab City's existence known to the world. In 1984, estimates suggest there were between 600 and 700 RV rigs set up in Slab City, but the town's popularity boomed after the article ran. A 1988 San Diego Reader article catching up with the residents explained how the population at that time exploded to have 2,000 RV rigs. Yeah, I mean, I think I just must be built different. Because I very simply would not read an article about an unincorporated prison yard city where people live on concrete slabs and think, take me to there. Like, that's just where my mind would go.
It does for me, but not to live there, to just like witness it.
Yeah, exactly. But I would not think new home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, case in point, after we did our Mothman episode, I went to Point Pleasant. I went to go to the Mothman's version of the Gathering, the Mothman Festival. But I didn't move there.
Yeah.
I just was like, oh, this is rad. Look at all these people dressed as the Mothman. I fucking love this. Oh my God, the Mothman Museum. I love this. Oh my God, they have Richard Gere's chapstick from the movie Mothman Prophecies. This is fantastic. But I'm not going to move here.
Yeah. Well, my wife, when she was young, when she was in her early 20s, she moved and lived there for a year, maybe less than a year or something like that.
In Point Pleasant?
No.
Oh.
Sorry. The way I said my sentence, I put the subject at the end and the predicate at the beginning as a way of revealing information at the end, but it sounded like I was saying that she moved there. She might have, though, if she was really into Mothman, because when she was in her 20s, she moved to Aberdeen, Washington, because that's where Kurt Cobain is from. And she lived there for a year, or a little less than a year or whatever. But she moved to Aberdeen, Washington, because that is the birthplace of Kurt Cobain, where he grew up. And that place is a hell. I've been there. We went there. We went to Aberdeen. I was like, you lived here? You lived in Satan's asshole? Because Kurt Cobain lived here? And there's a little statue by the little river, the Muddy Banks of Wishkah, which he named a song after. And there's a little statue of him. And you lived here? And you got robbed and your car got broken into multiple times, and you lived in a house where there was raccoons living in the fucking still water underneath the foundation of it. We're built different.
Yeah. I'm already from that place, but it's also 100 fucking degrees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've lived in similar places, but not by choice.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't
migrate there.
Yeah, I didn't choose to move there, yeah.
The San Diego Reader piece mostly interviews Rusty Lee Jones, the unofficial mayor of Slab City at the time, although the article makes sure to note how there's no official power structure within the community. The article describes Rusty as
an easygoing fellow who has a talent for getting along with folks. He spends his days sitting under the awning of his fifth-wheel trailer, registering newly arrived residents at Slab City. He listens to people's problems, offers information and advice, and wishes everybody well. He's too laid back to be a politician. He wasn't even elected, and he doesn't get paid. He's a volunteer. Nobody in Slab City does anything they don't want to do.
Couple things to talk about here. Well, first of all, actually, before we do that, let's. I'm assuming this is.
Yeah, that's Rusty.
Rusty.
It is.
Yeah, this is Rusty. So.
Rusty looks like a type of guy who simultaneously has a Southern accent and also a New York accent.
Yeah, Rusty looks like he has a Southern accent, a New York accent, and a British accent somehow.
Yes. Yeah, Rusty's the type of guy who only has one pair of shoes.
He's like, yeah. And then he just passes out from heroin withdrawals.
Rusty's the type of guy who looks like he wears country western themed shirts, non-ironically.
Yeah, Rusty looks like he saw Johnny Cash live at Folsom Prison, but he broke into the prison to see him.
Rusty looks like the type of guy who, as a young man, looked like an old man.
Yes. Rusty looks like he was Elvis's stagehand.
Sorry, did I step on?
Sure,
okay.
That's the end.
Okay.
That's the end of it, sure.
You could take it again if
there was going to be more, but that's the end of it.
Okay.
He just looks like Elvis's stagehand.
Rusty looks like the type of guy who has a cigarette in each hand.
Yes.
Rusty looks like, as a baby, he was born with crow's feet, a receding hairline, and gray hair.
Yeah. Yeah, Rusty looks like business up front, fetal alcohol syndrome in the back.
Rusty looks like the type of guy who goes to Target trying to shop for bowling shoes and gets pissed off when they don't have any.
He looks like a guy who lives in a fucking unincorporated
He does.
libertarian escape from New York style city. But yeah, so that being said, as we've accurately described our boy Rusty here, a couple things. So number one, have you heard about Slab City? When was the last time you heard about Slab City? Or when was the first time you heard about Slab City? The last time you heard about it was not necessarily interesting. It was just when I said we were going to record this episode.
Yeah.
Tell that story.
So you were standing across the room and you said, which episode do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, which ones we got? And you're like, well, we could do Slab City. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Riveting stuff.
So much content.
When was the first time you heard about it? If so, if you have. And also, more importantly or more interestingly, what are your thoughts on this idea of like, we are so committed to freedom of speech and this idea of freedom, and being out from under the oppressive stranglehold of the government. We took 1984 as a very real cautionary tale, and we are so adamant about never submitting to that we will live objectively horrible lives.
First time I heard about it,
because this is not the only example of this. This is one of them. But there are many examples of things like this.
Yeah. First time I heard about it, I can't, honestly, we've been talking about doing this episode for like years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I first heard about it when you were like, I want to do an episode about this, or if I saw like some weird history article or something about this. And then I was like, oh, that's the subject Andrew wants to do. To answer your other question, I'm kind of surprised that stuff like this doesn't happen more and isn't more culturally prominent, because it feeds into the myth of American exceptionalism and the myth of kind of American independence in the face of insurmountable odds. Like there's that documentary Wild Wild Country about that cult that started, I think it was in Washington or Oregon maybe, where they like made their own city and then bust in homeless people to get them to vote in order to incorporate the city so that the cult itself could be a legal organism and like have rights and hold elections and fight back against the other incorporated towns and cities in the state that were like, you guys are crazy and we don't want to deal with this. And like that story and this story feel very similar to me in that they are fringe ideologies.
There's also the libertarian town in Colorado, which we will do an episode about at some point, where they basically got together to create the perfect libertarian town. And, I don't want to spoil it because we're going to do an episode about it, but it involves the town being overrun by bears because they deregulated the feeding bears laws.
Yeah. But I feel like there should be more kind of stories like that are almost cautionary tales, either that people in positions of power would use to disincentivize organizations or groups of people from banding together like this, or that they would just feed into established narratives and be co-opted by larger groups or ideological organisms on whatever the spectrum is. I feel like even like Hoover towns in a certain context feel narratively analogous to me, where, during the Great Depression, people would band together and be forced to live in these kind of like enclaves of unhoused, underemployed, financially hard-shipped people, and they would sometimes look out for each other, but also they were just kind of like these weird swarming hives of, people doing whatever they had to do to get by. And that, I feel like, has fallen out of the narrative, but for a long time was a piece of American history that really people talked about and examined, and like, how did we get to that point? And you'd think that narratives like this would fill a similar place in our cultural lexicon, even as just curios of like, roadside attraction-y, like, can you believe that these people did this thing?
Yeah.
But they kind of don't, which is interesting.
Yeah, we've talked about similar things like that before. I think we talked about on the Amish and Rikyū episode. I talked about this idea that like, they this sarin gas attack that they did in the subway system, and it's like, fingers crossed, you almost don't want to speak these things out loud in especially in these times. But things like that. And then in that episode, I think I brought up that there was this thing that happened in the 70s where this new age spiritual cult in Texas, something like that. I think something like that, poisoned a salsa bar at this restaurant and a bunch of people died. And we talked about the fact that like it's kind of crazy that that stuff doesn't happen more frequently.
Yeah.
It's weird how the social contract is like seems to be powerful enough to hold it back against a lot of pressure, and maybe we're getting to the place where it's
starting to fray at the edges.
Getting to fraying, getting to splintering. But at least so far, it's pretty fascinating how powerful the social contract can be.
I mean, we've talked about this before, both on and off the show, just about my interest in kind of extra legal vigilantes and the specific idea of real world supervillains, and how either, you know, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, Zodiac, like people that are not, like, I feel like, you know, Idi Amin or, you know, Stalin or these political leaders that have committed atrocities is a different thing than this weird archetype of like somebody outside the system who has a grievance and is using the kind of strictures of society to either speak about whatever their grievances are, like the Unabomber and his like you know, resentment for the progress of technology and how we are being ripped away from nature and whatnot, or the unknowable theatrics of somebody like the Zodiac, where he was constantly putting on this elaborate performance, taunting people to catch him in this extremely elaborate series of murders. Like those, the way in which those are theatrical to me feels very American, in the same way that this is a similar level of theatricality that feels very American, but has not been accepted into a mainstream ecosystem of media attention or kind of lionization at all.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know if you've read it or not, but I'm a huge fan of Jason Pargin's books, aka
John Dies at the End.
Yeah, John Dies at the End. One of my favorite book series. He writes another series called the Zoe series, and it's about he's written 3 books so far in the series, and it's about a girl in the future, in a future world. She's like a poor, super poor, living in poverty. She lives in a trailer park, and then one day she finds out that her dad, who she's never known, is this like impossibly rich, basically like mob boss, who dies, and then he leaves his entire empire to her. And so she moves from this trailer park to basically this city. I'm kind of blanking on the name of the city, but it moves to this city, which is like it's a combination. I mean, this takes place in the future, so there's a lot more like advanced like sci-fi technology, but it's an amalgamation of Las Vegas, Dubai, and Slab City. It's like basically what we're talking about. It's like, what if in the future somebody created the ultimate like lawless fucking you know, this is the American dream, fuck the government, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want type place, and it became this thriving metropolis, and it became sort of like the central pivot point of the entire global society.
Totally.
And there was other cities that are like this, but this is like the main one. And then basically the books are just her living in this bizarre, fucked up, like libertarian's wet dream futuristic city, and then navigating, essentially running this like criminal enterprise. I mean, number one, it's a satire of this idea. But also it just shows that like these cities like Las Vegas, Nevada, and Dubai, and the Colorado town that I was talking about before, they are like, I mean, obviously in their own ways, they're these very successful places, but they're also like failed experiments in creating a city that is etched into the image of the American dream in the most extreme way. Where they just never quite got over the hump of that. Yeah.
Well, especially Vegas feels very germane to what we're talking about, because it was like an artificially created place. Like,
yeah,
people moved there purely to support the industry of crime.
Yeah. And also, I mean, so is Dubai. Dubai is like we're gonna like build like the coolest place in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And it's even one step above Vegas, where like they built it with the intention of it gaining a reputation for being a futuristic, cool place to go. Like they built it on purpose with that in mind.
It's like a city as marketing hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't Saudi Arabia doing something like that right now, where they're like building a giant like city that's in the shape of a line?
Yes.
It's like a multiple story like glass ostensibly tower that's on its side or something.
Yeah, and they're all like Dubai and a few of these other things. They're literally just like, we did a better America. Come live here. Like that's what it is.
Yeah. We had that oil money. Do you want to partake?
Yeah, like you like the promise of hedonism and endless freedom that is, etched into the DNA of what the United States stands for, or at least presents itself as. Like, we did that, but like times 10, baby.
Yeah, totally.
Part of this registration process for the city involves giving people the phone number of the Imperial County Sheriff. The closest police presence is several miles away, and Slab City residents were encouraged to provide their phone numbers to that station in case any family members needed to get a hold of them for emergencies, since they didn't have any direct phone lines themselves. There are no property taxes, land ownership, sales tax, building codes, water systems, electricity, mail delivery, telephones, jails, and perhaps most importantly to long-term residents, there's no work. People just do what they feel like. There's something really funny and fascinating about this, which is kind of the tenor of this episode, which we'll get to. But the idea that like they have built what is supposed to be this like this ultimate free city. Like I said, it's a libertarian's wet dream. It's like there's no property taxes, there's no regulations. You don't have to work. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. But the only reason why that's possible is because it's built on government-owned land that they don't care enough about to do anything with, and don't have any interest in going and like breaking anything up on. So it's like they couldn't do this on public land. They couldn't do this on privately owned land. They would be, even on privately owned land, they would be subject to all these laws of whatever city or jurisdiction that they're in. It just wouldn't work. And we saw that with the Colorado Libertarian town, which we will do an episode about at some point. But specifically because it's unincorporated government land, they're in a vacuum, and the government's just like, well, they're kind of isolated. No, as long as nobody roams onto this land, they're kind of not hurting anybody. And like, man, there would be a lot of paperwork with us going down there and like getting these people out of here. And so by that virtue, they're able to have this lawless Mad Max world. While it sounds like an anarchist paradise, the reality is anything but. As the San Diego Reader article points out, Slab City looks more like a retirement community than a haven for punks and scoundrels. Many Slab City folks just kind of wound up there, as was the case for old Rusty. I wonder how much of it is that, and how much of it is like, for better or worse. I'm not saying that this is a good thing at all. Like, in some ways, the ethos behind what they're doing it's understandable. But I wonder how much of this is, you go there and then you love it and it grows on you and then you keep going back to it. And how much of it is like when you remove yourself from society and you go off grid and you have that gap in your identity as a citizen, it's really hard to incorporate back into society. And you see that with prisoners, where I wrote an entire article on my Substack, treehousedetective.substack.com, about the criminal justice reform and the issues around criminal recidivism, and how a mass majority of ex-cons they end up committing more crimes and going back to jail. And the largest component of why that happens statistically is because they get out of jail and they can't find a job. There is a very intentional and very widespread effort and institutionalized policy against hiring people with criminal records. And so a lot of these people just can't get work, and then they're just like, fuck, at least I had a place to live in the fucking jail. So I wonder how much of that is that, and how much of it is like you go out and you're like, I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind, and I'm gonna do what I wanted to do back in the '60s, but I was too afraid to do. I'm just gonna go and get off the grid and live in Slab City for 5 months. And they go out there and they live there for 5 months, and then they go back into the city. They go back into civilization, and then they're just like, oh, what's this 5-month gap in your existence? Like, we're not going to give you fucking food stamps. We're not going to hire you for this job. We're not going to give you these social security checks. Like, you just have like a gap in your resume as a human being. And then they just kind of have to go back and live there because they've just kind of like ruined their like identity card.
No, but it's an understandable modus operandi for how somebody would function.
But people in Slab City just have to get creative to have basic things to live. Everyone is responsible for getting their own solar panels and or propane to fuel generators. Many people drive to the nearby town of Nyland to fill up their water tanks. At one point, there was someone known simply as the Waterman who could come by Slab City and sell city water for 15 cents a gallon for those that didn't feel like trekking to Nyland. First of all, that's once again just furtherly hilarious that are like, we live off the grid, there's no rules, but like, you know, we got to go and get the city funded, you know, processed water that goes to the city, you know, sewage system and gets treated and cleaned and purified. We got to do that.
Yeah,
we still got to do that.
I mean, we still got to.
We're not gonna go full water world and drink our piss or some shit.
Like, what are we gonna not talk to the waterman?
Yeah,
that's rude.
But second of all, this is the first thing about this that has enticed me. The very first thing about this entire story that has enticed me.
15 cents for a gallon of water?
Yeah, no, the price of the water. That sounds like a good deal. I'm paying 20. No, we've talked about this idea on the show before that future privilege. Back in the day, you could do some more. There was more stuff that you could do because people had done less stuff. So like, you know, at this point, if you want to make a movie, it's got to have like 3 layers of high concept, and you've got to cast the biggest movie stars on the entire planet, and it's got to have some new revolutionary camera technique that no one's ever done before anyone will even consider greenlighting it. But then, you know, 100 years ago, you could just be like, I'm filming myself on a train, and it would be the blockbuster of the fucking century. In the same way, you know, I kind of like the idea of like, I'm the waterman.
Oh, the thing that was intriguing to you is
getting like an identity like that. Like, I'm the waterman.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's hard to carve out an identity in this world. There's too many people. There's too many people filling all the niches. Like, I haven't gotten my thing. Like, nobody's calling me like...
Yeah, no one has a series of pet nicknames for you that engages with your predilections. You definitely haven't cultivated an entire army of people that have given you a fake identity.
Whatever could you mean, Dave? Yeah, I mean, you could be right. Maybe I'm taking my privileges for granted. I very well could be. Yeah, but there's something enticing about people knowing you as the waterman. Here comes the waterman.
Would you want this to be a situation where waterman is descriptive of your job, or would you want this to be your name is now Andrew Schultz Waterman, and people call you the Waterman?
No.
No, you want it to be descriptive.
It's got to be descriptive. It's like, I'm the waterman. Here comes the waterman.
Right.
You know what? You know, you better be nice to the waterman, or maybe, you know, that water will be a little yellow.
Yeah, it's like you're like an urban legend, kind of like Candyman or something.
Just a little touch of yellow in it.
It's just a couple drops.
Give a nice tip to the waterman.
Give a nice tip to the waterman so you don't get tip in your water, yes. Man.
Tip for no tip. Leave a few bottle caps for the waterman under your pillow tonight, or else your water tomorrow morning might be a little cloudy.
That's so horrible. That's so horrible.
And there are porta potties located in public areas throughout Slab City, but the waterman won't need them. Although some people simply create their own cat holes, meaning they dig a hole and do their business in there and then cover it up. However, this is typically discouraged due to environmental concerns. I mean, here's the thing. Like, on one hand, the positive attributes of the Slab City. It's the great equalizer. You had, combat veterans living here. You had old retired hippies living here. You had vagrants living here. Everybody brought together, and like there's something admirable and kind of heartwarming about this idea of everybody from every walk of life, from every social status, being brought to the same level. Like, we are all human beings. We are all one. We are a community. We are not defined by the money that we have, the job that we have. We're just human beings. But then on the flip side of that coin, it's like the ultimate dehumanizing experience of like, you have to shit into a hole in the ground and bury it like a cat.
Honestly, that's a really good Nine Inch Nails record title.
But this lack of amenities doesn't deter people from all walks of life from laying down roots in Slab City. As we'll get into, while some have worked to form a real community in the area, Slab City has also attracted drug addicts and more dangerous individuals wanting to keep their activities out of the immediate sight of law enforcement. Speaking of the refuse of society, keeping their dangerous activities out of the eyes of law enforcement, do you have anything to plug, Dave?
I do. I would like to talk about the fact that my character Halloween Boy has been adapted into the form of an action figure.
Yeah, ironically,
I don't have one.
Yeah, ironically,
right
when we did a remote recording, you were able to actually show it.
Yeah.
Because you were at your house and you had it. But
Yeah.
now that we're in person, full frontal,
Yeah, it's full frontal. Yeah.
Unadulterated, you don't actually have it, so
Yeah,
you can't even
say
show
it.
it.
But I'm sure there's an image somewhere floating around. Spandrel will probably put it on the screen maybe or something. It's available at Big Bad Toy Store. You can just search Halloween Boy action figure, Halloween Boy Operation Monster Force. That's the name of the line that Halloween Boy is in. And it's very, very findable online, as well as my books or any of the other things I make. You can find those at heydavebaker.com. Andrew, do you have something you'd like to promote?
I do have a few things, as a matter of fact. If you want to get my book, Deadbolt AI Private Eye, it's a comic about a robot from the future who's a detective solving crimes and dealing with emotional ennui. As a matter of fact, there was a listener who apparently ordered the book months ago, and I shipped it off and marked it as shipped, and then apparently got lost in the mail, and they reached out to me to tell me that they never received it, and their emails were sent to the spam folder. And so I one day looked in my spam folder for some other reason, yesterday I think, and I saw like 3 emails from this person who had, over the course of like a couple weeks or a month or something like that, been like, hey, I never got this book. Hey, help me. What's going on? Which God bless him for that, because most people would just be like, what the fuck? And then just, demand a refund. But this person was very patient with the fact that they hadn't received this book in like 5 months, and I wasn't responding to their emails. I finally saw them. So apologies to that listener. I'm getting your book shipped out ASAP.
Andrew Price, more like Spam Drew Spine.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, they bought a second copy of it. Like, they were like, I'm not getting my book. They're not responding to my emails. I'm just going to buy another copy. And
Is
that's
that
how
when you realized it?
Yeah, that's when I realized it. And then I was just like, I'm so sorry. I will refund you for the second book that you sent me as like an SOS. So yeah, feel bad about that. But that, for the most part, 99% of the time, that's not going to happen. I have had a couple books that got lost in the mail before. There's been like 1 or 2 other people who have ordered a copy of Deadbolt, and then it never showed up on their doorstep, and I had to send another copy, which is not a big deal. Like, it's all good. I have plenty of copies. But yeah, you can pick that up by going to dapricerights.com and getting that. You can also get some cool Deep Cuts merch by going to deepcutspod.com and clicking on the shop. You can get hats, t-shirts, onesies, coffee mugs, so on and so forth. I used to have a Deep Cuts coffee mug, but I broke it. I dropped it and broke it, so I need to buy another one. And I can show it off here on the show. So yeah, all that cool stuff. You can follow us on social media. Go into YouTube, youtube.com/deepcuts, or just search Deep Cuts Podcast. I don't think we have that username, but just search it. You can go to Instagram at Deep Cuts Pod. You can go to TikTok at Mystery Treehouse. You can follow us on. That's it, I think.
It's a real thing that we should be promoting is...
Yes. You can also back us on Patreon.
There we go.
You can support the boys. You can pump the page.
Pump the page.
Back the boys.
Back the boys.
And get the goods.
Get the goods.
By going to bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon or patreon.com/mystery treehouse. The reason why it's like that is because for some of you, you only listen to Deep Cuts, and so it would be weird if it was called Mystery Treehouse. So I created a separate bit.ly so that it makes more sense to you. But for other people who watch our YouTube channel or like more of our content, it's actually called Mystery Treehouse. It's kind of just supporting all of the creative endeavors that we have. You can go there. You can back us in 3 exciting ways. For $5 a month, you become a junior sleuth, where you get a shout out in the show, and you get access to ad-free versions of Deep Cuts and Mystery Treehouse, our YouTube channel. For $6 a month, you become a Super Sleuth Plus or a Junior Sleuth Plus. It should have been called Super Sleuth. That's a way cooler name. But anyway, neither here nor there. You get access to our first tier of bonus content called Shallow Cuts. You get 10% off of merch drop. So all that merch I was talking about before, you get 10% off of that, and you get access to other cool stuff. I forget, but it's all there. Check it out. And then for $10 a month, you become a senior sleuth. You get all that stuff, plus you get access to our second tier of bonus content, Deeper Cuts, plus you get access to our monthly live stream, plus you get a custom message in the show with your shout out, plus some other cool stuff. Check it out. bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon. We got other cool perks. Check it out. We got some bonus content up there for the different tiers, and yeah, it's a cool, fun time. So we're going to do 2 custom messages from Senior Sleuths today. This first one, which I'll let you say,
okay.
I'll let you read, is not actually a custom message. So you can kind of read this and then maybe do the thing that he's saying.
Okay, Caden Parker.
Or they're saying.
Yes.
Sorry.
Caden Parker says, this is the only podcast I'd financially support. Just say whatever you think is quippy. So I'm going to say, really? That's the sweater you're going with?
That's your version of quippy?
It is.
That's more catty than quippy.
No, it's because it's like in a Marvel movie where they're like the superhero gets revealed as like in their big costume shot. You know, it's like a low angle. We dolly in, and then we cut to the 2 best friends that are like in the superhero tailoring shop, and one of them goes, "Really? That's the sweater you're going with?"
Yeah, we have a Hulk. So thank you so much, Caden Parker, Senior Sleuth. That was your quip. Our second Senior Sleuth custom message for this episode is from the Great Sea Moose.
Yes.
And their custom message is, House is a 1977 Japanese horror film directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi, featuring the tagline, "How 7 beauties were eaten." So their custom message was just the log line for the movie House.
Which is kind of great. I love that movie. I'm excited.
So I guess the intention of this is to recommend to listeners to watch House.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out House.
Check out House.
Check out the restored Criterion edition.
Yeah, the movie is beautiful to watch.
Completely remastered.
Absolutely ethereal in its nature, which I enjoy. It's got a narrative, but it's also kind of non-narrative, which is fun. And now we're doing what? Our list of
yeah, we're gonna do all the rest of our regular shout outs.
Cool.
Here we go. Finally, alphabetical order. So first up, we got Senior Sleuth Ace.
Thank you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Ace. We got Amber Tyndall.
We love Amber.
Love her.
Andrew C. Rempt, aka T.O. Poppy, the co-host of the STTNG's Not Another Star Trek podcast.
Hey, this isn't their custom message episode.
Oh, sorry, shit. All right, Andrew Rempt, longtime Los Angeles Lakers fan, who I definitely don't DM with, being like, "Can you believe Luka dropped 43?"
This is the Andrew that you cheat on me with because I can't fill that role in your life of talking about sports, and so I have to
go to another Andrew.
You have to.
Yeah.
What is the term?
Work wife?
Look outside of the house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about DeAndre Ayton and how Lakers fans are going to be sorely disappointed in him before the end of the season?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I have to get my needs satiated elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Asbestos.
Thank you, Asbestos.
Thank you, Asbestos.
Thank you. Baked Beans Garage.
Baked Beans Garage. This person is very sweet. They're a recent backer. They messaged me. They said some very kind words. They will have a custom message coming up. They are one of the custom message senior sleuths, so we will get to that at some point. But very, very sweet person who had some very kind words, and we'll talk about that on another episode. Brad Manier.
Chesty Rednuts.
Chic Vulgaris.
David Cartwright.
Decky P. Old queef pants themselves. And if you did not listen to the last episode,
that makes
you
no
will
sense.
be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Just Eddie.
Emily Black.
Ethan Barrel.
Phi Jinda.
JH.
Or Jason Hunter.
Or JH.
Jack Stratton.
Justin Wood.
We already did Caden. Liz Banks.
Matthew Polito.
Michael B. Miller.
We hate/love/hate that guy. Michael Lindquist.
Mitchell Kilmer.
Robert Williams.
Ryan Logan.
Cy Geek.
Shannon Talty.
Big Talt. Sleep Drifter.
The Batman Who Naps, a.k.a. Seth.
Dude, Senior Sleuth or Senior Seth?
Senior Sleuth or Senior Sweetheart?
That's what I'm saying.
Already did that one.
The Great.
We did that one.
We did. Okay. Sorry. What is that person's name?
I didn't really know either. It's like the Jonathan Agar, I think.
The Jonathan Agar.
Your Vanilla Bee.
we love your Vanilla Bee. Thank you so much. You truly are our bee. And now, back to the show.
Act 2. Return the Slab City or suffer my curse. When speaking to residents of Slab City, it's clear there's no one singular reason that brings people here. Many are retirees living off of social security checks. Others are migrant farm workers without a ton of money to their names who seek out Slab City in the off season so that they have virtually a free place to live for a few months. Then there are those who sought Slab City because they were tired of the politics and bureaucracies of modern life. YouTuber Ryan Toomey spoke with one such person in this camp who discussed their disillusionment with society.
How long have you lived here?
6 years.
6 years?
I've been volunteering for the mountain for around 4.5.
That's awesome. What made you come out here? If you don't mind me asking.
My wife. My wife and the laws kept changing in Florida. We had a small restaurant and a lawn tree service business. The state passed laws saying you couldn't feed the homeless.
Oh, really?
And I used to feed the homeless every Sunday out of my restaurant. And one day I was delivering food to a security guard that worked in one of the banks. And when I come back, I got 26 tickets handed to me.
So you think that's kind of what brings most people out here is just the freedom of it?
I think the freedom brings people out here, the lack of bills that you have to pay. If you brought an RV out here and you parked right there across the street and you made a little encampment for yourself for the winter time, it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, the only thing you have to pay for is your own power and your own water.
Mm-hmm. And you never get bugged by
nobody.
Law enforcement or anything?
Law enforcement don't bug you. They'll come by. I get law enforcement that bring donations to my camp. My camp is a very big camp and it's well known, and therefore they end up bringing people donations.
Okay.
And those donations I pass out to people who need it in the slab.
Yeah, that's the thing he was talking about is like a real thing, and it's actually kind of fucked up. There's a lot of laws and city ordinances that discourage or outright criminalize giving food to homeless people. And there, like he said, there are a lot of restaurants that like to give out food to the local homeless, and then they get written up by the city and charged for that. And there are organizations like Food Not Bombs that do these big drives where they go out and they hand out all this food that they've gotten donated from supporters to local homeless, and then they get like arrested on the streets because they're like, the cops come out and they're like, you can't do this, and then they're just like, fuck you, basically. And then they just keep doing it until they get arrested, and they're in jail for a couple days. They get out and then they go out and do it again, and then they get arrested again. Like it's really fucked.
Super dystopian.
Yeah. So you know, there's that aspect of it where it's like, wow, I'm aware of that, and that's a really fucked up thing, and it's really admirable that he did that, and you can understand the frustration of, you know, that's a really valid reason to become disillusioned with just the entire infrastructure of the government, and you know, all of these rules and regulations that are less designed to help people and more designed to just like keep people in line with a certain infrastructure of how people want things to be. And it's just, it's inconvenient that you would give money to these homeless people, because in the minds of a lot of people, you're just incentivizing them to stay homeless and stay in the area. And a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, the other part of that, the other thing that, you know, that stuck out to me about that is just, you know, the way that he was talking about it, and the way that he was describing the reasons why he went out to this town. It's really interesting that, you know, Slab City, for all, you know, we've criticized it or made fun of it, it also seems to serve as this like release of pressure for certain people who have been beaten and pushed and put into a corner by society, pushed further and further into the corner. They don't feel like they have anywhere left to go. And then you have a place like this that ends up being like this last refuge of people like this. And it's really interesting. Obviously, we haven't been there. We haven't really, like, this episode really isn't about like a slice of life, like looking into the different personalities that live in Slab City. There's tons of things like that. There's documentaries that do things like that. So, you know, that's not what we're going to do, but you can go out and seek that. But it's really interesting to look at that, and just, if you were to go to Slab City or watch one of these documentaries and just see all the different people that live here, and just see how they all are these different people. They all have different personalities. They have different walks of life. They all came to this place for all different reasons, but they all have this same through line of like, they're the people that fell through the cracks. Like,
yeah.
The
system has failed them.
Yeah.
Or they think the system has failed them, or they're just tired of dealing with the system, or just the presence of the system is so overpowering that they're like, fuck it, man, I'm going off the grid. I'm not going to deal with any of this shit anymore, and I'm just going to live out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. It's from an anthropomorphic perspective. From an anthropomorphic mouse.
Yeah.
From an anthropological perspective, the idea of, like, not in a dehumanizing way, but to look at this almost as if you are peering into a snow globe, and see all of these different personalities that have kind of shaken loose here, and seeing how they interact and interplay and the differences between them, is super fascinating. It's super fascinating that there is this catch point.
Yeah.
For all of these different types of people that have this one specific problem.
Yeah, it's like all of the problems are along the edge of like a digital matrix, and then the like weird 1970s CGI visual metaphor for it is that like that thing that's in all those like children's museums where it's like a digital web put onto a giant circular bowl, and you put a little marble and it like goes down into, and it all terminates at that same point, which
or like
is
in malls in the 90s where you have that big thing where you put the coin in, like to donate it to UNICEF or whatever.
Yeah, and it's the same thing of like everybody is either burnt out, abused, or fed up with the rat race of existing in capitalism, the pressures of trying to accrue more wealth and a supposed stability, and so instead they opt to reject that and live off the grid in this literally abandoned fucking lot. Like, it's in one way it's like deeply romantic, and in another way it's like kind of scary to me. I'm like, I don't know, man. Even if I am a person that ever gets to that point, I don't know that I want to be around a lot of other people who've gotten to that point.
Yeah, because then you're living in Mad Max times.
Yeah, it's, you know, who rules Bartertown? I never want to be in a scenario where I am vying for control of a feudal system that has a means of solving problems through gladiatorial combat, because this guy not coming out on top.
I'll protect you, baby.
We're gonna be the Master Blaster.
Mm-hmm. You're my Master Blaster.
Right. Well, here's the problem. In this scenario, you're both Master and Blaster, and I'm just like a dude Like, I'm just there.
Yeah. You're that one little guy from Fury Road.
Oh, yeah. The son who has his legs don't work. Yeah.
Slab City has been a popular destination for more of the hippie artist crowd as well. Perhaps the most well-known among Slab City artists is Leonard Knight, who created the Salvation Mountain structure. It's effectively a Mount Rushmore for Christian iconography that's 5 stories high and 150 feet wide. The top has the words, "God is love," while a mixture of colors, hearts, and other sayings spouting the virtues of loving thy neighbor can be found across the structure. This is the structure right here, the, what is it called? I just said it, the Salvation Mountain structure.
Salvation Mountain looks like the backdrop to a Christian-themed Sesame Street.
Yeah, Salvation Mountain looks like it was built using stuff from the Salvation Army.
Salvation Mountain looks like the type of art installation project made by someone who's devoutly religious, lacking in complete skill, and has never seen any sort of art that was ever made with skill. So part of me loves this because it is like this weird outsider art project, and another part of me is like, but why it gotta be themed after the big G, you know?
Yeah, Salvation Mountain looks like it would be on one of those game shows that's like, Is It Cake? Where you have to cut into it to see if it's a mountain or a cake. And then they cut into it, and it's just a giant mound of hobo shit.
Dude, it does have like the bubbly texture of like fondant.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like this was featured on an episode of fucking The Great British Bake Off.
100%.
Like Paul Hollywood made this mountain, and it's all bread.
Do you think this element of these like hippie boomer artists, the Sedona types,
oh god, yeah,
that came out here, like there's also this element of them? Do you think that the other citizens of Slab City, the ones that are there for more kind of like pragmatic reasons because they feel like they've been, ostracized from society, or they've gotten fed up with some kind of system and they feel like this is like their last refuge, like I said before, do you think that those people like really hate the hippie artist people that are there as like, we're just here because like we just want to like express
freedom
ourselves
or whatever?
Do you think that they like really hate and resent those people, or do you think that they kind of like appreciate somebody there kind of like sprucing up the place and making it more interesting?
I think it's kind of similar to how the termination point for all ideologies that are vaguely spiritual are just crystals.
Yeah.
Like you go into any of those shops,
it's crystals all the way down.
Yeah, it's crystals. And like, what does that mean? A crystal that's sculpted to look like a fairy, or does that mean a crystal that like is sold to you by a guy who claims that he's a shaman, or is it a crystal that a white girl with dreadlocks gives to you on the beach? Like every ideology that's on that end of the kind of quote unquote energy spectrum, it just ends with like patchouli, open-toed sandals, and crystals. It doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing. It all terminates in the sandal.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I feel like that's with this, where like everybody who rejects societal norms in some way has this void in their life because you have so much free time that even if you're not an artist, you just become an outsider artist because there's literally nothing else for you.
For all of those types of people, at the end of the day, they just want a wall or some kind of structure with a patchwork of completely conflicting colors and a bunch of handwritten Bible scriptures.
100%. Yeah. Everybody that is going to move into a place like Slab City at one point or another has done needlepoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like age, gender, doesn't matter. Like you've done some weird, like I've taken a paintbrush, dipped it in oil, and painted a thing on a wall.
The art installation is made from an assortment of found objects, including old tires, car windows, donated paint, adobe clay, and hay bales. Knight even appears in the 2007 film Into the Wild in an unscripted scene where he talks to Emil Hirsch and Kristen Stewart's characters about his work.
I'd like to show you around up here. I've been here since 1984, more or less.
Oh, so they just like traveled through Slab City.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of tourists come in here and they look at that car door up here, they really like it. And I found car doors and put them in there, and I bolted it all in.
Where'd you get the telephone poles?
Oh, a lot of people in the valley just love me a lot. Everybody now, I think, in the whole world is just loving me. And I want to have the wisdom to love them back. And that's about it. So I really get excited.
You really believe in love, then?
Yeah, totally. And this is a love story that is staggering to everybody in the whole world. That God really loves us a lot. I don't know, does that answer that?
Yeah.
Good. I really love it.
The
here.
thing that's
I
not
think the
communicating to
freedom of
somebody
this
not
place
watching
just
this is
so
how
beautiful.
voyeuristic
To me,
this
I
is,
wouldn't move
where you're
for
like
$10
peering
million
over Emil Hirsch's
unless I had
shoulder,
them.
looking at these close-ups of Kristen
So I'm
Stewart
contented
acting
here
her
in the
ass
desert,
off,
and I'm living where I
like
wanna
biting her
live.
lip
And,
and like
I think
looking
good
at him
is
like
better.
he's the only human on earth.
Yeah, and there's like a meta narrative going on where they're speaking to the character within the movie as their characters, which is a true story, based on a true story. But you get the sense that like he's just talking to them.
No,
like,
yeah, he's totally.
He doesn't
scripted.
he doesn't know that there's a movie happening.
No, yeah. But there's also something kind of haunting about his face because he's so like weathered and like sandblasted and sun manicured because he's outdoors in this very harsh environment. And that's something that I see a lot.
You can say it. He's got that Arizona tan.
Literally, that's what I was going to say. Like, that's what I see when I go home so many times is like people who have a very specific wilderness aesthetic even when they live in homes just because the environment is so fucking harsh.
Yeah.
And like it's so interesting looking at that man's face and like objectively he's saying some stuff that's a little cuckoo. But like I look at his face and it immediately like transports me to a place that I like simultaneously love and hate because, that's what life is, right? But like I know so many people like that dude where it's like they're like super emotionally raw, very, kind of like hyper eye contact, like we're having a moment because the environment is so harsh that you'd like, how many times can you say it's real hot out today, And it's and then also the music is doing a lot, cinematography is doing a lot, but man, his face is so like extreme.
Yeah.
In a really beautiful way.
Talking to our boy Speed Racer himself.
I know. I wish that guy hadn't gotten canceled.
Well,
I don't even know what he did. Do you know?
I think he flew into a fit of rage on the set of a movie and like physically threatened.
That's it? I'm not saying that's good. That's bad. Don't do that.
Threatened to choke a female
Oh,
a female actress or somebody, a crew member or something. I forget. I don't remember exactly. It happened literally like 15 years ago. I don't remember the details of it. But yeah, he threatened to choke somebody after flying into a fit of rage on a set of a movie or something like that.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to refrain from saying let's make a comeback vehicle for him because I don't know the specifics of that story. But I will say that as long as it's not like a serial offense that he's continuing to do, he's a good actor, right? Like, you could put him in some stuff, I think.
Speed,
dude. We should make a Speed 2. Can we get the Wachowskis?
We just remake Speed Racer 2.
I mean, honestly.
But we make it as a sequel to the Wachowski one.
Yeah. And honestly, like, the aesthetics of Speed Racer, while they are glossy and beautiful, they're also kind of shitty, which is the point, right? But it'd be really interesting to, like, try and make that today purely on a green screen. Because you kind of could.
I mean,
yeah.
right behind you.
Right, yeah. Anyway,
Got a
I'll
pop-up
stop.
green screen right there.
I'll stop talking now.
Sadly, Knight died in 2014 at the age of 82, but his mountain remains open for tourists from sunup till sundown. A group of volunteers even live near the site to help maintain the installation, which regularly degrades due to its constant exposure to the desert heat. So while tourists can come for free, donated cans of paint are appreciated. That's also that's delightful.
Yeah.
That they just keep maintaining it despite its constant, oxidation from the sun.
I agree.
The idea that they would like not literally, but they would keep his legacy alive in a way like non-passively, because you keep people's legacies alive through memory, You might even erect statues for somebody or put their work in a library, but these people have to actively put in physical labor to keep his legacy alive on a daily basis, which is very romantic. Salvation Mountain is far from the only art piece found in Slab City, though, as many artists have made their mark. This includes the East Jesus Sculpture Garden created by the late Charles Stephen Russell. Some of the more noteworthy attractions in the area include the TV wall, which consists of a bunch of TVs stacked on each other with a bunch of They Live-esque sayings painted on them like, "In security we trust," and "You have the wrong opinion."
Do you think that they liked each other's work in terms of like they respected the craft, or do you think because one of them is obviously a conservative artist and the other one is libertarian or maybe like far left, you know, that they were like, that they hate, like, I love the idea of this weird collection of artists where everybody's making weird stuff and living off the grid, and one of the guys is just like, this fucking asshole.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thought experiment because, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, they long for the days when people who disagree with each other could get along, and we become so divided, and in many ways that's so incredibly true. But you got to wonder where the line is with that. Like, how long can you be in a room with somebody who is so diametrically opposed with your beliefs before you just like want to fucking strangle them?
Yeah.
And you just got, because that's kind of the point of this town, right? The point of the town is that it's just, there's no rules and it's total freedom. So it seems like in the spirit of that, you should be like, yeah, he has completely opposite beliefs as me, but like, I love him. He's my brother.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thought experiment of like what would happen if you put people into a confined space like that. Put a bunch of people who all have wildly different beliefs into a little community. In theory, they're all supposed to embrace this idea of diversity and having different beliefs and thoughts and opinions, and they're supposed to be able to get along and, you know, kind of circumnavigate the division that we've culled in modern society, and see if they can actually maintain that, or if they don't end up going full Lord of the Flies.
As much as I was just saying they're probably on opposite sides of the ideological spectrum, one of the TVs buried in the bottom right just says Democrats are evil. So, you know, maybe they're not on the opposite.
But, you know, there's got to be,
yeah, there's got to be
other people within this community that are far left or whatever.
Yeah, or not even are far left, but just different ends of the spectrum.
So you got to wonder if they're just like, yeah, whatever. He thinks Democrats are evil. Like, it's all good, baby.
God still loves him.
Or if there are these, like, you know, these people that get into, you know, shouting matches where they're just like, fuck you, Tom, you asshole. Like, you know, what is the reality of that situation? Yeah. How does that shake out?
Yeah.
There's a podcast called The Lost Debate, and I've been listening. I started listening to the podcast when it launched. I don't remember how I found it, but The Lost Debate, the premise of the podcast is there was a leftist, a liberal, and a conservative, the three co-hosts of the show, and they would talk about political issues and news stories, and kind of like the whole premise of the show was like, we're not into that whole division thing. We think that we can all have a dialogue together and be accepting of each other's ideas, and that's what this podcast is going to do. And slowly, one by one, such and such is no longer going to be on the show.
Oh, and it's, interesting.
And it's like, yeah, it's easy to say that, but then when you get into a room and you're talking to somebody
and shackled to them for potentially years at a time,
it's
publicly.
like, I don't know if it's, and then it's like, actually, I'm going to be taking leave from the podcast, and at this point, it's just the one guy. It's no longer, it doesn't even have the original premise of the show. The leftist and the conservative person left, and it's just the like centrist liberal guy now.
Ugh.
There's even here we go. We're right. The next thing. There's even a Black Lives Matter installation as a showcase of how even people so far removed from society recognize the importance of the movement. So yeah, you got to wonder if these people are getting into shouting matches, because the type of person who says Democrats are evil is also the type of person who thinks that Black Lives Matter is racist, like against white people.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder.
I don't understand. Why doesn't it say all lives?
Yeah.
matter?
Are these people getting into fights, or are they really embracing that idea of like diversity of thought? But workers looking for cheap living spaces and free-loving artists aren't the only ones in Slab City. As one might expect from a self-proclaimed lawless town, the area has also attracted plenty of folks who ain't quite right. In 2012, Vice documented some people living in Slab City, including one gentleman with the same vocal cadence as a mid-90s Adam Sandler, who goes from quirky to talking about cannibalism over the course of a few minutes. I've never been more excited to watch a video in my life.
Let's do it.
Ooh, ooh.
For the listener, he's making out with a snake.
Oh my God, he has no teeth.
And relax. Remember, you're amongst friends. This is a Western Diamondback. It is a neurotoxic, more than hemotoxic snake. And it kills more people in the United States than any other reptile. Up north, you'll see snakes. They have black splotches on here. This is part of what I'm trying to tell you. If you go up north and there's a snake and he's green, and this is red and there's yellow borders, it's a Mojave green. It's a 70% chance you're going to die if you get bit. I think it's 7 people out of 10. I mean, you're lucky if you live, because it goes right in and shuts you off your.
See, this guy gets to be the
Doesn't make a
snake
big
man.
bite. You don't think much of it, but it goes in there and it's death. It's in there shutting you off. I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. If I hated your guts, and I wouldn't wish that kind of death on you. If I was trying to extract information from you or something, I might use a snake. Just that psychological part. You know, like, where are the children? Where's
Actually,
your
he reminds me less of Adam Sandler and more of Brian Wilson. He speaks and has a similar cadence to Brian Wilson.
I don't understand why these Vice reporters let this guy put a snake on them.
Oh, I wouldn't.
You could not pay me to be in that room.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly couldn't pay me to let him put the snake on
No,
me.
dude.
He's like,
There's so many snakes in there?
He's
No.
like, this is the deadliest snake in the country. If you get bit, you have a 70% chance of dying. Get it the fuck away from me.
Yeah. Also, fucking hilarious that he's wearing a Big Dogs shirt. So good.
Even out in Slab City, we have a sense of humor.
Dude, so good.
I love me a Big Dog shirt.
I know, me too. I've always wanted to wear Big Dog shirts, but I can't.
Yeah, you gotta wear the little dogs.
I know, dude.
Tiny dogs.
I know, dude. It sucks. Maybe I should do. Is it lame if I buy a Big Dog shirt and then have it custom tailored?
Yeah, you get a custom tailored Big Dog shirt.
Custom
It's a tiny little Big Dog shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, it's like a dog with like a fucking robotic eye and a leather jacket, and it's called like the Pawinator or something like that.
Yeah.
get the information from you? Use your fears on you or something. But I wouldn't wish it on someone. They have to be real serious.
Red
Just one of those
touches
kids,
yellow,
my mom
kill
let
a
me have
fellow.
one. And then what happens after getting
This guy's
bit and
obsessed
getting
with
to all the
snakes.
hospitals and things, I learned to catch them.
He doesn't just have snakes. His whole house is like dedicated to
Use
snakes.
the talent I learned from a lot of pain that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy for catching them and getting them out of the yard, and then I take them a mile or two
He says
away.
wouldn't wish it on my worst
These
enemy
bombs?
quite a lot.
See those bombs exploded? Look at them. If I get bombs, I take them and I
Come here,
call the
rumblies.
fire chief. We get a hold of somebody if we can't handle it ourselves, and get them and ask them to come and blow them up. Because there's a Marine base over here, and sometimes people go over to get bombs, sometimes bombs are over here. So what I'm saying is,
I wonder if
rattlesnake's
this
just like
man
one of
has
those
ever
bombs.
used
It's like a bomb
extracurricular
right there, ready to go off.
drugs.
It can make you into a casualty.
Nah, he seems straight edge to me. Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit of a character,
I loved that guy.
a little bit of a, piece of work.
He seems like the type of guy who you'd be talking to. He'd put down his backpack and a snake would slither out, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'll get back in there," and just put the snake back in his backpack.
I've met people like that.
Dude, that's like my worst nightmare.
Like a couple of years ago, maybe it was a while back. We were at Kid Space in Pasadena. It's like a big kids play museum. And we were walking around, and there was just a dude, and he just had a snake in a fanny pack.
Nope.
And it was a little like It was a harmless little snake, and I didn't care. But somebody narked on him. So he
Good.
went and told, and he got kicked out.
That is the one time I condone being a rat.
Because you don't, because then the rat won't get eaten by the snake.
Yes.
But aside from just general weirdos, crystal meth usage has also run rampant in Slab City for years.
No.
No way.
No way.
Well, here's the thing we're kind of getting to. Here's the thing we haven't talked about so far, which is like, a lot of times, like the idea of the platonic ideal of a free city has a lot of it's a romantic idea. It's something that you can kind of respect. You can kind of be like, yeah, I can get behind that. I can believe in that. But quite frequently, there's ulterior motives.
Yeah.
And it's like, Art, do you want to live in a city of ultimate freedom, or do you just want to do crystal meth?
Yeah, no shit.
Do you just want to do crystal meth and make out with a snake? While police don't get called often, meth use is a common reason why they need to make their presence known. But what city isn't without a few bad eggs? These days, the settlement has accumulated plenty of noteworthy amenities, including a free lending library, internet cafe, hostel, a skate park made from the former military base pool, and an outdoor music venue called The Range, where local musicians frequently perform. We gotta play The Range.
Dude, we have to play The Range.
We gotta play The Range.
Dude, I genuinely, like, that's all I want.
I wonder because it's like local musicians, like obviously, but I wonder if Slab City is very well known, and there's a lot of people who are really into weirdo, countercultural ideas like this. I wonder if any like real bands have ever played The Range. Like they just knew about Slab City and then just wanted to do it.
San Mateo. Like, I'm just saying, dude, let's do this.
We play The Range and we play that music.
Yeah. Dude, I've got a black hole in the middle of my heart, and it can only be sealed with Slab City.
And one of these Slab City people are just like, I love the narrative episodes.
Yeah. Did you see on the Patreon this week, somebody sent us a DM that was
I'm
just
glad
like,
you paid off the DeboVid 18 storyline.
Did you see this?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Somebody
Their
literally was
favorite-
like, their favorite part was the narrative stuff.
I think I commented on it and said, you made my day or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I said some sentiment like that, but like, yeah, fills my heart.
Me too. Honestly, more for you than for me, because they are my favorite part of the show too, and you and I make them together. But like, I think it's kind of funny that nobody likes them, and I think you are more like, man, you know what I mean?
That personifies it pretty well.
And so the fact that this person took the time to send us a direct message and be like, hey, I really love the narrative episodes. I was like so taken by that. And I saw it, and my first thought was not my own emotional response, but like, Andrew's going to love this.
I did. I definitely did. Because sometimes people say that in response.
Yeah,
And
because it's unprompted, it means more.
Yeah, and
Because
it's
it's
almost
one
like,
thing-
do you really mean that, or are you just trying to be nice?
Yeah,
But that's a real genuine thing.
It comes off 9 times out of 10 as they're just trying to be nice, because we talk about how frequently people will tell us like, oh, I skip the narrative episodes, or I don't care about the narrative episodes, or I'm just there for the explainer stuff, which, like, that's fine. Sure, cool. I think you can enjoy the show in whatever way you want to enjoy it. But I personally am just out here fiending to do another Kleps episode, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a hot female creature from the Black Lagoon dealing with a lifetime of trauma from being indoctrinated into a cult. Like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Do you think it would do better though if we like emphasized the hot stuff, where it's just like it becomes like a cheesecake book, like Vampirella or whatever, where it's just like jiggly animations for?
First of all, yes. Second of all, how do we convey that in an audio drama?
Yeah.
We got to get I got to get creative with them jiggling sound effects.
Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
Right now, the permanent population of Slab City tends to hover around 150 residents who stay year-round, even in the sweltering summer heat where temperatures can sometimes exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. More tend to come...
110 degrees.
Fuck that.
Yeah, 110 degrees.
No
Fahrenheit.
way.
Yeah.
On that alone, I can deal with the rampant crystal meth usage and the threat of getting stabbed, and the mountains of trash and the no, running water or electricity, but 110 degrees dry heat? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
More tend to come in the winter months when the population can sometimes balloon up to 4,000 and tourists frequently stop by, offering a source of income for residents who sell their art and wares. That's a wide spread.
Yeah, it is.
A town who at some points has 4,000 residents and then at other points has 150. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
This created problems in the advent of COVID-19 lockdowns. One might assume the isolated community would be relatively safe, but a constant influx of tourists and drifters caused residents to seriously worry. One resident, Cornelius Vongo, managed to send out a live stream with the following message.
If you're thinking about coming here, now is not the fucking time. We're surrounded by death and disease and unemployment and scarcity, and it's just going to get worse. So hunker down.
Yeah, that would have been fucking wild. I wonder if like living in Slab City during COVID-19 was like living in the fucking that city from Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah.
Like the city that he's in where all the villagers get turned into fucking zombies. Like that would have been fucking wild. In a lawless little unincorporated town that's built on the idea of kind of being the Wild West, and then like the neighboring more like organized society is also in chaos, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? The fears were well warranted, as Slab City has a primarily elderly population and no health infrastructure, with the nearest hospital being 40 minutes away in the town of Brawley. Plus, Slab City's inherent nature makes it a haven for those with conspiratorial beliefs and distrust in the government. The problem with having a community with no rules is that when you need to tell them to do something for the greater good, they're hesitant to listen. No firm data is available if a COVID outbreak occurred in Slab City, although there were rumors some people got sick with it, but we can't know for sure. I mean, here's the thing, that the way that was written was almost, negative, but
That's kind of
honestly,
impressive to me.
it's a miracle that
Yeah.
there wasn't, like, what Slab City is, and the story isn't like 150 dead bodies helicoptered out of Slab City. Like, the fact that there apparently weren't any deaths is a miracle. That's impressive.
How much of that do you think is due to the fact that it's 110 degrees?
Yeah.
There's no buildings.
Yeah, I mean, as Donald Trump said, if we could just somehow get the light into the body, we could kill the virus, and they did it. While a COVID outbreak could have wreaked havoc on the community, there's been a persistent other threat always on the horizon. For years now, the state of California has flirted with the idea of selling the land. Of course, California hasn't sold it yet, but as recently as 2021, the state's Lands Commission has considered getting the land appraised for a potential future sale, which would also necessitate a cleanup of possible military waste that's been there since the 1950s. These people are living on a military waste?
Yeah, dude. Are we surprised though?
Yeah.
Not really.
The looming threat of California selling the land has even caused some longtime residents to put forth proposals that maybe they should all just buy the land themselves. One such group, already designated as a 501c3 nonprofit organization, wants to purchase the 160 acres that Salvation Mountain is on and run it as a cultural shrine. It's so funny. We're off the grid. We don't live by your government rules. We're our own people. We live totally free. You can make your payment out to our LLC. We are incorporated in the state of Delaware. For tax reasons, please fill out this W-9. There's also the Slab City community group that's looked into acquiring 450 acres as part of a trust, with Joel David Huntington of the group stating,
You can't remain static, or you just go backwards.
naturally, there are residents vehemently opposed to the idea of making Slab City legit, as it were. Some have accused leaders in the community group of only being interested in acquiring personal power and that they don't want there to be zoning, building, health, and sanitation codes brought to the area. One opponent of buying the land was quoted by the New York Times as saying,
We might as well go back to the suburbs.
For now, Slab City remains an intriguing enigma in the middle of the California desert. It's described as a lawless city, but with frequent law enforcement visits. It's filled with people who want to push back against government overreach while collecting social security checks. And it's a place for the downtrodden to find some semblance of community when other cities would push them away. But maybe it's those bizarre contradictions that have made Slab City so special to so many people. While we're all toiling away in offices and doing stupid shit like paying property taxes, we could just be in the desert, painting mountains. Maybe these people know more than we realize. And to close out this episode, we leave you with the unofficial Slab City anthem. Remember when I said that I've never been more excited in my life to watch a video?
Now this is
I've now never been more excited in my life
you superseded the previous one.
to watch a video or
Yeah.
to listen to a song, I guess.
Sure hope not. Go for it.
Mexican Air Force.
They're living way out here below sea level. Whenever could get on society's track. Now we seldom bathe, and you might say we're disheveled. But we like it here, we ain't going back. Yeah, we like it here, we ain't going back. Yeah, we like to chop it up with the snowbirds. They got lots of money, and they got lots of grass. And the crusty codgers, they don't mince no words. They say, shut your mouth, boy, and you can't kiss my ass. Now just shut your mouth, son, you can't pay in cash. All right, let's play a little guitar now, huh?
This is basically our dynamic.
Yeah.
I wish I had better teeth.
I like how he just sent him into he introed in a guitar
Oh, it's
solo
real
and then he
quaint
just kept
and some
playing
say
that
like
chords.
basic
Yeah.
chords.
Oh, it's brutal in the summer, yes sirree. But it's our little hidden desert city, a place for those who long to be free, a place for those who long to be free.
That man,
Well, we don't really
he
care.
seems like he's
what you look
incapable of
like.
having fresh smelling
It
breath.
don't matter much about where
If we
you
get
come
copyright
from.
strike for this song playing this episode,
On
I'm
RV
dropping a bomb
or
on Slab
Grand
City.
or a hitchhike. How you welcome here, and here's where you belong. How you welcome here, and that's where you belong. Tell it, Dad. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop. What the fuck's the matter with you?
I don't know.
Yep. It's us, dude. It's us.
This is us.
It was really important that he kept playing.
So if you're getting tired of the system, if the man is calling in all your tabs, well, if your troubles are so many you can't list them, well, just chunk it all. Join us on the slabs. Hey, just chunk it all and join us on the slabs. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
not bad. I'll say it before and I'm gonna say it again. Also,
Living in Slab City. Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I contradict myself, so be it. I contradict myself. I contain multitudes.
Okay. Disclaimer.
There's this idea that they're like, we've gone off the grid. We no longer we refuse to play by society's rules. We have taken ourselves out of the equation, and we are truly free for for the rest of our lives. And you can't tell us what to do anymore. But we need access to your city water. We need access to your stores that we can go in and buy supplies from. We need access to your law enforcement to solve certain crimes that even we are uncomfortable with. And so we will call the cops on people for doing things in this supposed free, lawless city. It's just so funny. It's so hilarious. And on one hand, the uncharitable way of saying that is, it's a bunch of like boomer hippie cosplayers, which I think it mostly kind of is. But in the more charitable fashion, to go back to my Walt Whitman quote, quip too. Sure, is it a quip? I guess you thought that insulting my sweater was a quip.
It is.
It's very human.
Yeah.
It's very human to be like, I want to be free, but I need my natural eyes.
Yeah. I really want to be free, but also, anybody want to go to Wendy's right now?
Yeah, it's very human.
Yeah. Would you ever move out to a place like this? Could you see yourself getting to this point?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
I'm wearing a sweater vest.
So am I.
I'm wearing a sweater vest. I'm wearing a sweater vest, Larry.
I feel like, but I feel like you more so than me. I feel like.
Here's the thing, though. Don't bullshit with me. You're wearing a costume. I'm wearing my clothes.
Sure. Yeah. But also, my clothes are a costume, Spandrew. No, but the weird thing about this, or the thing though that I think is interesting about kind of the divergence in our personalities, is that you could absolutely do this. I physically could not. You're very self-sufficient, you are handy, you are self-determined, and also you're somebody who like thrives in isolation. And I do too, to a certain extent. I'm a fucking cartoonist. Like, I don't, but I'm like both, where I'm an extrovert and a weird reclusive artist, where you're much more comfortable tinkering in my garage, in my Slab City RV, where I belong. Like, I could totally see you. Like, if everything went to shit, I'd be worried that you would grow that beard and go out there.
Yeah. I could be the gearhead in the RV, just like tinkering and building my little things and being like, oh, I saw that you were having trouble, getting water out to your property, so I built you this irrigation system.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then I could be the waterman.
Yeah. Well,
that's the dream.
If it makes you feel any better, you're the waterman to me.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much what I just said. I find it very funny, but also profoundly human. This idea that, you would want to like extricate yourself from society and have this feeling of total freedom, but it's like, it's in every quantifiable way a facade.
Yeah.
You live on government land. Like your life is literally subsidized by the government.
Yeah.
You are going into town and getting water and buying beer and snacks. You are getting donations from cops, apparently. That was like a strange thing. Like, why are cops donating money to you? That's very weird. And then like when push comes to shove, you're just like, oh no, somebody's robbing me. Cops, come out here, please.
Yeah.
Very funny, but it also, like I said, it's just exactly what people do.
Yeah.
You want both. You don't want to be told, and I feel this way too. I want to not be told what to do, but I want to be given everything that I want.
Yep.
And these people have just taken that to just the logical extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could sum it up any better than what you just said. I feel the same way. I think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting. I wish the artwork was a little better.
Yeah, not great.
Not great, but the song was pretty good.
Yeah, that was. I was hoping for it to be just like fucking crazy, but it was actually just like a pretty good song.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
If you'd like to find me on the internet, you can do so at heydavebaker.com. Maybe go buy the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Halloween Boy action figure, or maybe Mary Tyler Moorhawk or Halloween Boy. Andrew, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, your platform of choice, at Treehouse Detective. I'm making my short form fact videos on all three platforms, and I'm also putting out long form videos on YouTube. I have multiple long form videos on there. You can also read my long form articles at treehousedetective.substack.com. You can find us on social media by going to Instagram at DeepCutsPod, or YouTube, Deep Cuts Podcast, Facebook, Deep Cuts Podcast. You can join our Facebook group, the Deep Cuts Podcast Facebook group, where we hang out, we talk about the show, we do cool stuff. You also have a Discord, bit.ly.com/Deep Cuts Discord, where we also hang out and talk about the show, play games, so on and so forth. You can watch our long form video essay explainer videos. I said that was too many words. Long form video essays.
Yeah, the video essays that Andrew and I write and are in together.
YouTube.com/@Mystery Treehouse. We put out an episode every week. We have an episode where Dave talks about the brilliant and bold failures of the Wachowskis.
It's an hour long.
Mm-hmm. You also have a video about the life and times of Tom Scholl's, founding member of Boston, the band, not the city. We just launched the channel about 3 weeks ago. It's going pretty well so far, so check it out. We're going to be putting out a video every week. You can also support us by going to bit.ly/Patreon. I fucked that up. bit.ly/Deep Cuts Patreon or patreon.com/Mystery Treehouse. You can financially support and back the show in 3 cool ways. For $5 a month, you become a junior sleuth and you get a shout out in the show and also ad-free episodes of Deep Cuts and Mystery Treehouse. You can, for $6 a month, you become a junior sleuth plus. You get all of that plus bonus content and 10% off of merch drops. And for $10 a month, you become a senior sleuth. You get access to our second tier of bonus content and 20% off of merch drops and access to our live stream every month. bit.ly/Deep Cuts Patreon.